Let us know when you're ready
Recording
to
in
start.
progress.
All right, we'll get tonight's meeting underway. This is the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District Board of Directors meeting for July 10, 2025. Would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Director Sailors.
Present.
Director Gould.
Present.
Director Stark. Director Weber.
Here.
Director Wood.
Here.
Director Costa.
Here.
Director Clark.
Present.
Director Rice.
Here.
Director Jones.
Here.
Thank you, all are present.
Thank you. Director Rice, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes. Ready? Begin. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director Rice. We'll move on to our Metro Cable announcement. Tonight's meeting is being recorded. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14 and on DirecTV UVerse cable systems. The recording is also going to be closed captioned and video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will replay at 6 o'clock on Monday, July 14, and again at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, July 16 on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once it's posted, the recording of the meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. Now is the opportunity for members of the public to discuss matters of interest, whether they're on or not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
I have no speaker cards. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak? Please stand and wait for the chair to call on you. Or members online, if you would use the raise your hand feature. No public comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent calendar. Do we have any questions on the consent calendar? Do I have a motion on the consent calendar?
Mr. Chair, I so move. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Director Sailors?
Aye.
Director Gould?
Aye.
Director Stark?
Aye.
Director Clark?
Aye.
Director Rice?
Aye.
Director Jones?
Aye.
Director Weber?
Aye.
Director Costa?
Aye.
President Wood?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. The consent calendar is adopted.
Outstanding. Moving on, we have a presentation item. Present the SDLF Transparency Certificate of Excellence to the Fire Chief and Board. This is going to be presented by CSDA Senior Public Affairs Coordinator Dane Waddle?
Wadley.
Wadley, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
That's okay. No worries. Well, thank you so much, board members, staff. Appreciate the opportunity again. Dane Wadley, Field Coordinator with the California Special Districts Association. But pleased to be here tonight on behalf of the Special District Leadership Foundation to present the District Transparency Certificate of Excellence to the district once again. So as I was going back in my notes, actually, we were talking before that I think last time I was doing this about 2019. So it's been a few years and coming back around, and obviously pleased to do so because the district has once again earned it for a 3-year period. So just as a little bit of context, the program was created in 2013, obviously for districts to demonstrate their commitment to transparency through this checklist item, which I'll go through here in just a little bit so you can kind of get a flavor as to what the requirements are to earn the certificate. But the district first earned it in 2017, and then at that time the renewal period was 2 years. So then in 2019, 2021, the district again renewed it. And then we extended the renewal period to 3 years. So basically end of last year and the beginning of this year, you've earned it once again. So you're good for another 3 years. And then hopefully we can all look forward to doing this in 2028 again. But very happy that, again, the district has continued the commitment to transparency going forward. And I'll just touch on a few things. Certainly your staff is aware of the work that goes into earning the transparency certificate. But there's kind of 3 subject areas, and you basically have to kind of meet this checklist, as I alluded to earn the certificate. So there's your basic transparency certificate, transparency requirements in terms of having your ethics certificates, your filing your reports with the state controller's office, all these laws that are applicable to special districts. There's also website requirements, having your meeting schedule on there, your mission statement, audits, budgets, all the rosters for you as directors with your terms, et cetera. And then finally, there's outreach requirements. So, annual, like a public budget hearing, a newsletter, et cetera. So there's, again, the thing I like to always convey is it's not just, putting up a website, putting a few things on and, oh, you're good to go. It's quite a lift. And, obviously things keep changing from time to time with state laws or certainly with best practices too. So we're constantly kind of pushing the envelope and, expanding things that go into the program, which again, obviously that you've met. So, and then just a little bit kind of broader context too, so to kind of show you the exclusiveness, if you will, of the certificate. So there's about 190 CSDA member districts across the state who have earned the certificate. So that represents about 14% of the membership. So, and certainly I've been with CSDA for a little over 10 years now and doing a number of these presentations. And so, earning it in 2017 and having the 3 renewals, there's not a lot of districts that I've done, like the 4th renewal for, as it were. So certainly something to, to be commended for the board, obviously for you guys with making the commitment to the transparency, and then your staff, of course, to implement it and to keep it all updated. So one of the things I always like to just highlight for the districts when I make these presentations is, one of the things that CSDA does on your behalf is legislative advocacy in, Sacramento and increasingly in DC as well. And so there can be a lack of knowledge about special districts. And boy, all I know is, there's a lot of these special districts, and are they meeting all these requirements that local governments or cities and counties have to? And when districts such as yourselves continue to go through these programs that we have, it makes our job, easier advocating for districts and you in those arenas. So I like to just make that connection for you as something that we appreciate because you're helping us help you, right? So, and we like to kind of summarize it as, transparency, of course, allows for accountability. I know that that's a longstanding commitment of the district and something that we want to celebrate. So with that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions, or I can do the formal presentation to recognize Sacramento Metro Fire District with, once again, earning the District Transparency Certificate of Excellence from the Leadership Foundation, good through June of 2028. So.
Do we have any questions from Director Gould?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just really quickly, who in this organization leads that effort?
Yes, and I wanted to acknowledge Leslie Miller on her efforts and countless hours she put into this, and a job well done. And I also would like to say to all the directors, your input with this and your requirements of surveys and results in this also. But
Thank
Leslie Miller is the key point in this, and
And I
thank you,
believe
Leslie.
she's in the
She is in the audience, and countless hours she put in.
I'll be. I certainly think that she should come up and receive this honor because frankly, we don't have much to do with it. Okay, I mean,
You did take your ethics training.
yeah.
I was gonna follow up on that, Grant, and just see if we got all the department heads here, and they're the ones that deserve it, so I'd like to see them all up, not us,
Here, here.
please.
Totally agree.
So let's embarrass her now if we could then, Mr. President, because this is a big deal. I think in recent news, we've had some government groups that now owe $180 million in fines back to the state for not getting the award, right? And so I think and we had a pretty big gift given to us because of the trust that our organization, that our community has in us. And this is just one more piece of the puzzle of that. And so kudos to all the staff, and particularly those that will come up and get the award shortly. I don't know where she's gone off to. Okay, what's wrong? Are you paralyzed? Can you not stand up? Anyway, I think this is one of the greatest things that this organization does, is continue to get these awards.
Let's get all the department heads up for this, if that's okay with you, Chief.
1, 2, 3,
Yes,
go.
absolutely. Sounds like all the department heads that are here this evening, you need to come up front, please. Yes, Shay, that includes you.
Yeah. She's gonna hate me for life. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, if I may make a comment. Dane, thank you so much for the presentation. We greatly appreciate it. I want everyone to know that CSDA and Dane have been a strong supporter of Metro Fire and all the special districts here in Sacramento County on behalf of LAFCOs and even Cal LAFCO. So we greatly appreciate the partnership that we have with CSDA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you so much. Appreciate the time. All right, we'll move on to reports. President's report. I don't have anything at this time. Fire Chief's report.
Yes, good evening, President and directors and colleagues, member of the public, Adam House, Fire Chief. Once again, want to announce some new hires and a promotion. Allie Miller, no family relative of anybody in the acknowledgement tonight, but Allie Miller was hired to the position of office technician in the office of the fire chief, and that's effective July 8th. And congratulations to Bill Graham for being promoted to warehouse supervisor effective July 9th. And Brad is in the audience. Brad, if you want to come up and say a few words, that would be great.
Hello, members of the board, Chief House. Been in LogSec for the past 7 years, recently promoted to warehouse supervisor. I just want to say it's an honor to be here. It's been a culmination of childhood goal to work for the fire department and a career in logistics that I've been able to combine. So I will give nothing less than what I've given so far, and I will give a lot more. So thank you for your time, and thank you for the honor.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
This was a busy week and visited a couple of our cities. One was Folsom on Tuesday, July 8th, at their city council meeting, and this was Folsom's facing a $3 million deficit, and I think everybody saw that on the news. And it's not just a one-year deficit; this is carrying on for several years. But they were proposing deferring hiring of 10 firefighters, and so I went to go talk on behalf of really our agency and what that looks like and how that's going to affect this agency and the region, and stress that this is a regional public safety issue. It's not just a local issue for the city of Folsom, and how this really affects all of us. Medic 36 has already been browned out, and it really affects all of us, but affects Metro Fire on a daily basis. And not hiring these 10 firefighters would be devastating. I also had to have a very serious and frank conversation to let their city know from a strategic level what that looked like with our automatic aid agreements. And we would really have to consider, I'd have to take that into account to ensure that our constituents and our citizens here locally and our members are not taxed by a decision that was made in Folsom. And I'm proud to announce, and I know 522 was there, Trevor Jameson spoke, some of the other county chiefs spoke, and I'm proud to announce that City of Folsom turned down deferring that and hired the 8 of the 10 because 2 of them had already taken jobs somewhere else from hearing that noise. So they hired 8, and we'll continue assessing the impacts of how that looks with all of our partnering agencies. I think we owe it to our members and our citizens when we see these type of budget deficits with other agencies to remind them how it affects a partnership that we've had in this region for literally decades on automatic aid. So I'm pleased to announce that they did hire those people and are continuing hiring those people. So on a brighter light, Rancho Cordova City Council, we attended that on Monday with our labor reps and board members. I know some of you were there, and I'm proud to say that the city approved an $825,000 supporting Squad 61 to help staff that. I will be bringing that MOU to you at a future board meeting so we can accept that agreement and those funds. And then lastly, it is close to tomorrow. It is close to tomorrow. So I wanted to announce a birthday and a happy birthday to Jill Guzman tomorrow. Gotcha.
Are you going to start the song, Chief?
Sure.
All right.
There we go. You gotta stand up.
Stand up, Jill.
So wrong.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jill. Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha. You're paying the prize house.
And that ends my report for this evening, unless you have any questions of me.
All right, thank you, Chief. I was reminded earlier that I missed our action item, but that is an action item we'll come to after closed session. So while I did miss it, it fortunately was an intentional miss, I guess. Operations report, Deputy Mitchell, welcome.
Good evening, President Wood, directors, Chief House, colleagues, and members of the public. Adam Mitchell, Deputy Chief Operations. I don't know how I'm going to follow that up. I know Jill's sitting back there, pretty happy about that. So I know how to follow it up, actually. I'm happy to bring up Chief Sean Daly to recognize another one of our members who has been promoted recently. We had a fantastic event out in his fire station on his first day as a company officer. But without further ado, I'll bring up Chief Daly to do an introduction and our new captain.
Good evening, directors, chief, everybody. Sean Daly, interim shift manager on the A shift. I am here to proudly introduce newly minted Captain Nate Hofford, who is assigned to 41 on the A shift. I'll give you a little bit of background on his career, and then I'll let him talk about all the fancy stuff himself. But he started his career down in Ventura County back in 2005. After that, he spent about 4 years working seasonally with CAL FIRE. Before coming here in 2013. And from there, I'm going to let him take over and tell you all the good stuff.
All right, members of the board, Chief House, staff, thanks for having me here. Just to clarify, I was a cadet in high school with the Ventura County Fire Department, so that was my first exposure. But that ties into the Explorer program here, which we've had an Explorer every year since it has been in existence, and we really like getting the young kids in there and getting that exposure because that's part of the reason why I'm here today. But a little bit about me. Came here in 2013. I'm from SoCal, went to Chico State, got a degree, did CAL FIRE seasonally, intermixed with getting that degree. Started at 41 actually, finished probation at 41, so it's pretty cool to go full circle and now be a captain there. Been at some busy houses, been on a truck for the past 6 years, and so what I've been told is that this role of captain is kind of the apex of the fire service, and I think it's going to be a challenging one to, trump that truck spot. So I started on the 3rd. My first set was 3, 4, 5, and it was busy, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to be here. It's definitely a humbling experience, a lot of new situations in a capacity that I haven't been in before. And so I'm excited for that. And I had a great ceremony at Firehouse 41. It was awesome. I wasn't expecting it. A lot of support. And so it definitely makes me proud to be able to wear this badge and work for this agency. That's a bit about me. Congratulations. Thank you.
That ends the operations report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions for Chief Mitchell? Thank you so much. We have no admin report today. Support services, Chief Wagaman? Okay. And moving on to firefighters local 522, Captain Scholar, or Vice President Matt, or Matt Cole, how are you? Chief Matt.
Sorry, we need to be better about updating the agenda so you know who's going to speak. Matt Cole, Director, Local 522. Good evening, everyone. I appreciate Chief House talking about how busy we were with some local politics, both in Folsom and Rancho Cordova. I think Rancho is an example of where when we have good relationships and support of those that represent their community, we can do great things together. I think there is an opportunity to help Folsom weather this storm. And so as another 522 agency, obviously we're there with our brothers and sisters at Folsom Fire, and that community matters to us and its impact on our service areas as well. So, but I'm not gonna focus on local politics tonight. What I'd like to do is take it to the national level for just a second, because we don't talk about that very much. And probably most, if not all of you, and those at home are aware that the big beautiful bill was passed. I believe it's HR 1 is the letter and numeric behind that. And there's a lot of benefit in that, regardless of your affiliation with political parties. For the working men and women in this country, there are some wins there, to include the SALT, which will change the state and local tax deduction levels, tax savings for retirees, which could be very positive to retired working men and women across the country, as well as expanding the child tax credit for those with young families. But there are two pieces of that that really affect Metro Fire, and that's where I want to focus. So in our country, unfortunately, healthcare is at times very expensive. For those that are uninsured or partially insured, the federal government comes in and helps provide services for them in the form of Medicaid, Medicare, which becomes Medi-Cal, so on and so forth. And so at times, before those folks get to the hospital, they need transport. And those transports are provided by agencies like ours. If the federal government was not in a position to come in and help us, that burden would fall on local agencies, which would then reduce our services and affect our response times and have a negative impact really throughout the state and the nation. So we're very fortunate that our state has put a lot of work in to push asks to the federal government to help us protect those that aren't in positions to fund their own protection. And so that was at risk, and I am happy to report by the commitment of the IFF, the CPF, and honestly, probably more so than any other local 522, we saw GEMT changes we saw no changes to the GEMT program. So that means that we won't have to look at what sacrifices to provide that level of service to those folks might mean to the entire entity, and that's something that I'm very proud of. I know 522 is very proud of, and from the state and federal level, there was a lot of collaboration and work that went into that. So that is a good thing for this agency. It doesn't mean that it won't be looked at in the future, but we will continue to work with our electeds at every level to ensure that everybody is protected to the fullest of our ability. So that's a good thing. The other thing I want to talk about is the tax on overtime component to the big beautiful bill. So it is fantastic that we have electeds on both sides of the aisle that want to take care of the working men and women in this country, and when they spend extra time away from their families, now the decision is made that they will be able to deduct some of the tax burden associated with that, which is fantastic. What that exactly looks like for the fire service, we're still trying to collectively determine. But I can tell you that the impact on the men and women riding around on fire engines will be smaller than any other impact, if for no other reason that we work more hours for straight time than anybody else in this country. So the FLSA exemption allows for organizations to not pay firefighters time and a half at their 41st hour, all the way up beyond their 51st hour. And that is unique. And my challenge to us in this room is we've talked about mandatories, we've talked about brownouts, we've talked about improving our level of service, and we've continued to put our heads together. I am happy to report that just immediately before this meeting, Chief House and I talked about putting a working group together to look at the amount of work hours that we're asking our people to commit away from their families. I think we have a very unique opportunity to look at a work schedule that would allow our folks to be home more. And my ask of you is to be part of that, right? So as you represent these communities, and obviously you care about the men and women that protect them, having our folks away from home for 56 hours on a scheduled shift followed by overtime, whether we're getting taxed on it or not, it is time to look at what that burden creates for our families, the exposure that puts our men and women through, the sleep deprivation associated to that. We are in a unique position as a special district with a lot of support from our community and a lot of good decisions that we've made over the last few years, I think, to roll up our sleeves and really be a pioneer at this. And so with the fire chief, with 522, and with the community support, I think we can really do something special. And so that's my challenge coming out of positive news from the federal government. Let's pull it all the way down to the local level and figure out how to really maximize a lot of the potential that was pushed through Washington, D.C., all the way to us here in Sacramento County. Unless you have any questions, that's it.
Any comments or questions for Chief Cole? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, Executive Committee has not met, and we don't have a meeting scheduled at this time. Comm Center JPA, I understand there is no meeting. Their next meeting will be on July 22nd, 2025. I mean, there's no report out. Finance and Audit Committee, Director Jones.
You could carry on there, Mr. President, that's fine. Our next meeting is on August 28th at 5:30 in these chambers, confirming that there's no July meeting. So you don't need to show up, it's okay. Thank you very much.
All right, I know there will be some substance to this one. Director Costa and the Policy Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the Policy Committee met today on administrative policy on Public Records Act. And just a reminder to the board, this is administrative policy, so it won't come back to the board. There was a question asked at a previous board meeting or committee meeting regarding an appeal procedure for PRA. And so currently under law, there is no procedure allowing for that. So staff went back to add some language to just provide more clarity around that. So once a request is denied due to the district's allowable exemption, we will notify the requester of that denial. At that time, if the requester is not satisfied, their only course of action is to request or retain an attorney and then potentially file a lawsuit. So we just want to provide clarity around that. So at this point, there is no procedure to appeal. The only process would be for that designee to go out and request an attorney. And then staff provided an update on a couple items that will be coming forward. So similar to what we heard earlier around transparency, staff has spent a lot of time going back and looking at our policies. They provided annual reviews to this board. They are now going to come back in August with a mid-year review. So what they're going to do is just provide us with what we've reviewed for the year, what's upcoming. And so the biggest piece is what's upcoming. So one of the things that they've done is they've gone back and they reviewed overall policy schedule. So they'll be presenting a 5-year policy schedule. That'll help us identify on a monthly tracker how many policies we should be reviewing to stay on the course. And it'll help not just the board and the committee, but staff as far as the policies and updating of those policies to make sure within that 5-year window. So a lot coming up at our next meeting, and that meeting is August 14th. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director. We'll move on to Director's questions and comments, and I'll start to my right with Director Jones.
You're rather right.
Left. Like, oh man, I'm getting dizzy.
Chairman Wood, I have no comment tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Now I'll go to the right and go to Director Sailors. Staying on my right, Director Gould.
No comment.
Director Rice.
A couple of quick things. One, I appreciate Local 522 and the discussion on hours. It's timely in that I think we're going to start discussion on negotiations. The single most important thing that we can do for the health and safety of firefighters is a work week reduction. And I am here to tell you that as a board member, I am all in. I will do anything I'm asked to do to support that and bring a better and a healthier work environment to Metro Fire. So if anybody out there is geared to say we can't, you probably need to get in a different line and not get in the way because you might get mowed over. This is groundbreaking stuff, so I'm excited about that. Secondarily, I already know this, a sad thing happened in the Pioneer Hook and Ladder, the Regional Fire Museum closed down. We were able to do a couple of events there here in the last month. All of their equipment has been redistributed, some going back to private, some being stashed in different departments. And as a board member, I have an ask of this board, the fire chief, and every member of Metro Fire. When I started here, it was Arden, Arcade, and Carmichael. Those three original departments were very into the history of the fire service, as was the city of Sacramento. And it went right through from Dale Paulson to Rick Martinez to Don Meddy, all of the fire chiefs. And I know that they're taking up space at Metro Fire, and my ask is this: can we please give the grace and make sure that we can help them secure their equipment until they can find and figure out a museum that is worthy? It is a great collection, and Chief House, it's imperative that I'm asking you to set the tone here. One of the most dedicated firefighters I've ever met in my life is Captain Randy Wooten, and he is the source and curator of this. And I'll just say it, we owe it to him, and we owe it to the members that came before us to do what we have to do to secure this equipment at our facilities and take a sacrifice for it and not complain about it, or I didn't get this bay or you didn't get that bay. You don't want to talk to me about it because you'll get an earful. We need to support this, and then we need to work in the community to help them find a building, or we're going to lose a valuable resource. So Chief, I'm asking, and every member of the department, please commit to this as they go forward. And that's all I have. Thank you.
To your point, if I can comment back, I've had conversations with Randy Wooten, Captain Wooten, for about 30 days now. Chief Wagaman and Chief Green are taking the lead on that, and we've already made facility space, and we will continue to. My comments to Captain Wooten was, I don't want to lose a bit of our history, and I know that Chief Costamagna and I are on the exact same sheet of music. We're committed to it. We have the space. We just need to make it a priority. It is a priority.
Thank you very much, and thank you to every member of the department.
Thank you, Director. Director Stark. Director Clark.
No comment.
Director Weber.
No comments, thanks.
Director Costa.
No comments.
All right. I just have one thing I want to say, and I want to thank the crew at Engine 50 back in March. My wife's coworker, Kim, her husband had a significant heart attack down in Elk Grove, and Crew 50 were able to get there and follow up on her life-saving efforts. And he's up and about and doing great, and I really appreciate, I guess it was Mark that put it together, the Instagram post for that, that recognition of the crew that helped save his life. So he's here because of their work, so thank you. And with that, we'll move into closed session.
Recording stopped.
Go ahead.
Recording in progress.
All right, we're back from closed session. Council, would you report out, please?
Yes, thank you, President Wood. The board met in closed session under the closed session agenda item number 1, Eric Kellenberger and Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District concerning industrial disability retirement. No reportable action was taken. The matter will be further decided upon by the board under an action item in open session now. Thank you.
All right, moving on to that action item. We have a recommendation on the industrial disability retirement of Chief Kellenberger. Any questions or comments? No? All right, can we get the, I need a motion.
I so move that. Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Can we get the roll, please?
Yes. So I just want to make one correction. I had, we are adopting a resolution finding Captain Kellenberger has suffered job-related injuries, incapacitating him for the performance of his duties as captain, and direct staff to continue working with Captain Kellenberger through his industrial disability retirement process with CalPERS. And I'll take the roll. Director Sailors?
Aye.
Director Gould?
Aye.
Director Stark?
Aye.
Director Clark?
Aye.
Director Rice?
Aye.
Director Jones?
Aye.
Director Weber?
Aye.
Director Costa?
Aye.
President Wood?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you for the clarification. With that, our next board meeting is July 24, 6 o'clock here in these chambers. We will see you then. We are adjourned.